is take detailed notes of what you smell and how you smell, and then you can score the wine based on smell. But smell is an important component of wine, and the major component of the pleasure that you derive from the wine. Then you get into, it says taste and texture. Well, I'll go over texture, but let me skip that and give you some pointers on taste. There are 4 basic taste components in any food. They are sweet, sour, bitter, and sweet, sour, bitter, and salt. Yeah. Thanks, Diane. I always keep forgetting salt because salt is really, sodium chloride is not in the wine, but bitartrate and other salts are there. Most of the time, the wine has to have a right balance between the sweet and the tart taste. Most of the white wine would have the balance between sweet and tart. The tart components are the acids in the wine. The sweet components are the alcohol in the wine as well as sugar. So if you taste alcoholic solution 4-6% against water, the alcohol taste will be sweeter. So sweetness in a dry wine comes from alcohol as well as any residual sugar if you have. In a sweet wine, of course, there's a sugar component to it. Then there is sensations which are not true taste, and these include the viscosity in wine. It's not a taste, it's a feeling in the mouth. The astringency or puckeriness or drying up mouth, that's what you get from red wine, is also a sensation. It is not a taste. So in a tasting of wine, you need the balance between the taste component, but also you have to integrate other sensations, which are body, volume, mouthfeel, and what you call as viscosity in the wine. So those are all the components of taste. Then texture, I think it depends what it talks here about the texture is the astringency in wine that give you this drying feeling. If you haven't tasted it, try to make a strong tea and taste it with a weak tea, and you will notice the difference in the ability of your mouth to dry out. This happens because of the tannins in the wine react with the proteins in your saliva, and you lose lubrication. That's why you have a roughness feeling with the red wines. So that's the texture part. And then the finishes has to do with after you swallow the wine should have about 3 to 4 seconds of pleasant sensation. And sometimes as you exhale, you are also reaching some of the flavors through retronasal passages to your brain again, and you begin to enjoy the liquid. So that's basically what this is about. And if there is any question, I'll be happy to answer. But again, getting back to when you are comparing wines, make sure that you are not comparing apples and oranges. Because if you are looking at California wine, there are different grapes. Iowa wines have different grapes, and there are thousands of grape varieties and thousands of regions, and every place is different. The beauty of wine is its diversity and ability to give you the pleasure. And once you start tasting wines, discovering wines, and decide what you like, that's great wine for you. Okay.
Thank you.
Great, Murli.
One
Thanks.
thing about temperature too is Chris went ahead and poured these wines earlier, which is what you should do, because when a wine warms up, you're going to get more out of it, especially in a tasting. And also, if there are any flaws in the wine, you'll be able to detect that where you might not if it's a very, very cold wine. So he's done a good job with temperature. It should be just about right to start with. So with that, you can sit down and try some. Chris, do you want to talk?